Welcome to the What's Our Verdict podcast, where we fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-hosts, Javier Ortiz.
What is up, my nerds?
And Ian Anderson.
Some shit.
All right. Do you ever find yourself wondering if you should spend the time, money, or both on a movie? We're here to answer that question for you. Each week we put a movie on trial, discuss the facts, pass judgment, and let you know our verdict. Check out our other episodes. If you're watching us on Facebook, you can head over to our website using the link in this post. If you're on YouTube, the link's down in the description down below. And this is our spoiler-free review, our deep dive review. Wow, our deep dive review. Talking too fast there, boys. Will be available on Monday, February 15th, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. You can listen to that wherever fine podcasts are found. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Ghana, just to name a few. Today we're reviewing Judas and the Black Messiah. It was released February 12th, 2021. It was written by Will Burson and Shaka King, directed by Shaka King. It stars Daniel Kaluuya, Lakeith Stanfield, Jesse Plemons, Dominique Fishback, Ashton Sanders, Algie Smith, and Martin Sheen. It tells the story of Fred Hampton, chairman of the Illinois Black Panther Party, and his fateful betrayal by FBI informant William O'Neill. If this is your first time joining us, we will rate this movie on a 3-tiered scale based on are spoiler-free, meaning worth it. So you should definitely find a way to watch this movie. Stream it, wait until you can watch it for free or easy. And finally, skip it, meaning you shouldn't watch this thing at all. Guys, I'll start with this. This movie, I've been interested because, you know me, we've talked about this before because we've done some movies that are based on facts or, you know, real events. And so I was really curious. So before I tried in reverse this time, studying what had happened and doing some research to see about this whole situation with Fred Hampton and how accurate this movie was. And before I even jumped in, I got excited because of all the reading that I did is these guys did their research. They did a lot of interviews with the people that were actually involved in this as much as those that are still alive. And they did a really good job, apparently. I mean, obviously, you can only go by what you can read and figure out on your own as far as research goes. But based on what I researched and heard, it's pretty accurate to how it all went down to the point that, you know, the FBI admitted their involvement later on. There was some lawsuits. I mean, it's pretty crazy how accurate this movie was. So I was really excited as I was watching it, realizing that while there were some obviously theatrical, you know, licenses taken, there were actually less than you'd think, which we'll talk about in the deep dive. It was very well done. It was very well acted, unbelievably acted, I should say. Let's not downplay that. The acting was amazing. It was a heavy movie. I mean, this isn't a movie that you just want to watch and feel like you're going to walk away feeling pretty good about yourself at the end of it. It's a hard movie to watch, full of some hard truths and some very scary ideas and, you know, crazy, crazy stuff. But the acting is amazing. The soundtrack's really good. The music itself's just amazing throughout. You know, and it's an interesting, sad, heavy, full of history and life lessons movie that I think is unbelievably appropriate for the time that we live in. And yeah, to me, I'm throwing it out there and just giving this a flat out worth it. I think you should find a way to watch this. If you don't have HBO Max, pick it up for a month, use your free trial, what you got to do. If you have a way to go to a movie safely and feel comfortable doing that, go see it in the theaters. But I definitely give this a worth it. You should go check it out. Javier, what about you?
This movie made me so angry. And I think that really speaks to how well this movie was made. I'm going to try my very best to just focus on the movie. And you know, how well it was acted and the story that was presented in the movie. But yeah, I think that it's kind of different. So ever since we started this podcast, it's been difficult for me to like get lost in movies because I feel like I'm always like trying to think of things to talk about or like paid attention to how the acting is or trying to listen to the soundtrack. This movie I got lost in. This movie I was just like, I didn't know who I was rooting for. I did, but like I didn't know who the good guys were, the bad guys were. Like I don't know. I was just so enthralled by this, you know, like the acting was really good. There was one scene between the Crowns and the Panthers that got really, really intense. And it is just like a, sorry, apparently my kid is running back and forth with the toy. So hold on. Let's wait for him to pass for a second. Okay. And then all that's playing, the score is like cello jazz, like just like boom, 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 boom. And I was just like, why does this work? Why does this fit? Like, anyway, yeah, cool movie, super heavy, made me so mad. I'm still mad. Anyway, I'm gonna say it's worth it. Yeah, definitely worth a watch.
All right, Ian.
What I love about this movie, and I feel the same way about the Trial of the Chicago 7, is that it leaves me wanting to learn more. I don't feel like you can watch these movies and not want to better understand what was going on. So yeah, I love that about this. I'm gonna say worth it as well, but I feel like you need the little asterisks of like you got to be prepared for a heavy movie. Like this isn't one you're just gonna want to sit down and watch if you're not in the mood to like pay attention. Hear and see some really big injustices. And like you said, JJ learned some hard truths.
It's like Waco
really well. Yeah, it reminded me of that. Like we've done a couple Trial of Chicago 7 and Waco where they've just been really heavy, hard movies to watch. So yeah, but I'll be honest, I don't even remember the score because I was too involved in like what was going on the screen and trying to catch all the different details that they throw out. I think it was interesting because they make references to Bobby Seale in this, which is directly related to the Trial of the Chicago 7, which we watched. Mm-hmm. So very interesting, worth it. Just be prepared for it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that completely. Both sides. Such a good movie. Definitely worth the watch. I think it's our first across the board worth it that we've done on new movies. So yeah, I'd have to go check, but I think we've had a few here and there worth it, but nobody, I don't think anybody, we've all had everybody involved in the podcast that when we've been doing our spoiler freeze, do a full on worth it.
We've it's just a type of a lot of crappy movies lately.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
not been good.
What were you going to say, Javier?
I was going to say this is just a movie that everyone needs to watch and needs to realize what a giant fucking hypocrite you are, and just keep that in mind while you're watching this movie. You piece of shit, right? Like that's my only advice. That's the asterisk that I'm going to put on my worth it. Is I want you to really like self-internalize and really think about yourself and how much you personally suck and how you unfortunately have the right to vote. And that's terrible for the rest of us. So, just think about that, while you watch this movie.
And there's Javier's political rant for the day.
I'm going to try to keep this real contained in our deep dive, and I apologize in advance. I'm just really angry and hyped up because of this movie. So
it definitely brings out that side. I think just to kind of put a cap on that, like for me, the big takeaway was, and we'll talk about this in the deep dive, but like the one problem that I had with the movie is the age of the actors that play these, especially the two main characters, because it's kind of misleading because they're 31 and 32 respectively as human beings filming this movie. The actual people they were playing were 17 and 21 or 17 and 19 or somewhere. They were both under 20 when they met. And it's not a long period of time that we watch. It's a couple of years, right? So oldest during this movie, Fred Hampton is 21 years old. And so you think about the things that they're doing and the things that they're going through. I'm 40 years old and I cannot imagine doing the things that these guys, and especially Fred Hampton, was doing and thinking the way that he was thinking. And so Javier tells you be prepared to feel like a piece of shit. But for me, it's less just feel inadequate because I go at 40 years old, I've not even remotely come close to trying to be as socially aware and progressive as this man was trying to do for an entire, not just race of people, but an entire class, more or less, of people and groups of people. And it's an amazing thought process. And I'm sure we'll talk a lot about that in the deep dive. But yeah, I just wanted to piggyback off that and kind of go from there. But everybody should go definitely check this movie out. First across the board, worth it. We look forward to talking about it here in our deep dive here in a little bit, but check that out again on Monday. You can also find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at What's Our Verdict. Go check out our website, what'sourverdict.com. You can sign up for our newsletter, which we send out once a month, telling you what's coming up and some additional episodes that we do have available just for those people, specifically outtakes right now, but some things to come in the future as well. Reach out. You can email us at hosts@what'sourverdict.com. Let us know if there's a movie you'd like us to watch and review. We're always happy to do those. Also go in and leave us a review at Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Podchaser. Anywhere you can leave a review, we appreciate that, and we'll read them out over the podcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in to watch our spoiler free. Check out our deep dive tomorrow, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye-bye now.
Cinemagic out.
Whoa!